Hey guys, this is Belfina, and I'm going to be discussing the African versus African American issue for Rise Africa, where I stand, my diaspora, my voice, and my community. The separation between African and African American for me began very early on in elementary school. When I came to the United States, I was bullied because I was African. And a lot of the bullying that I received came from African Americans. You know, they had all the jokes: African booty scratcher, you're dirty, you stink, you run with lions. And so my young mind was very perplexed about why I was being bullied because of where I'm from, because I thought we were all one. I thought, you're black, you're African American, so you're obviously also African. So why are you making fun of me? And on top of that, I go home and my parents are saying, don't be like a Nakata, don't dress like a Nakata. To be a Nakata is a bad thing. And Nakata means basically they're referring to African Americans. And so I grew up with this resentment against African Americans to the point where I didn't want to be associated with them at all. I never wanted anyone to call me a black American or African American. If you asked me, what I was, I would tell you that I'm just African. And I came to college and I began to take more African American studies courses. I hung around a lot of African Americans because I'm involved with the Black Student Union. And I really started to question, why is it that a lot of African Americans have this mentality that they have about Africa? Why is it that, they don't want to identify themselves as Africans? And my answer to that is the identity issue of that. I can easily say, I'm Liberian. This is what Liberia is like. This is what the food is like. This is what the culture is like. I go home and I speak my tribal language with my family, and I can trace myself somewhere. I have somewhere to call home. Now, African Americans, they don't have that. A lot of them, the furthest, they can trace their roots back to somewhere in the South. They'll tell you, my family's from Mississippi, my family's from North Carolina. And therefore, they don't identify with the continent because they're not necessarily from there. They don't have a home, they don't have that culture, they don't know anything about the food, the people. And so if this place, they call Africa, is unknown to you, and you don't know, where am I from? West Africa, am I from South Africa, I'm from East Africa, I'm from Ethiopia, I'm from Ghana, am I from Nigeria? You have no clue where your family is from, and so therefore you can't really identify with that place because it's an unknown place. It's something that you don't know. It's an unknown culture, and so you identify with the only thing you know, and that's the American part of being an African American. And so what I had to learn was that, as an African myself, is that I can't necessarily blame African Americans for having this mindset, because one, they weren't really taught much about Africans. The textbooks and the education system does a very terrible job about discussing Africa. And then you have the media reinforcing this negative image of what it means to be African, of what Africa is like. And so this is all they're taught. This is all they learn growing up. And so of course, that's how they're going to react when they come into contact with Africans. They're going to say exactly what they heard someone in the media saying, what they heard their mother saying, what they heard in a book, and that necessarily may not be true. And so as Africans, I feel like we need to take our time to educate and not necessarily get angry every time someone make an ignorant comment, or some of these comments are downright stupid. But we need to realize that if we're walking down the street, we don't have labels that says I'm an African, I'm an African American. We're all black people. We're identified by our skin color. And so when we realize this, I feel like we're going to take that time to really mend whatever is broken, wherever the disconnect is, and educate one another. So please share your opinions with me. I really want people to really be honest. I want us to have an open dialogue about this, because it really is an issue that needs to be, fixed from the root for us to, grow, especially the younger African generation coming up. We need to answer these different questions. So go to africasdonesuffering.com or personally inbox me at planetfarway.tumblr.com.